Good afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Kyle Granger in the WVLT First Alert Weather Center, where we wanted to go over what's going to be happening here for the next couple of days. So that's going to include the warmth that we have now. Then we're talking about the storms that are all around us when they inch closer to us, and the winds, which maybe some of you have already started to notice out there for us this afternoon. Look at that flag flying over in Pigeon Forge. We're looking at 30, 40 mile per hour gusts as we go through the course of the afternoon here. So I'll just kind of casually go through. Hopefully I'm going to find this live online. I'll be able to answer some of your questions. That's going to at least be what I'm trying to do right now. Share this with everyone. Let them know what's going on for the rest of us. So we'll touch base with the weather, with those winds gusting around. I'll show you some of the gusts that we have at this point. Look at that, 37 mile per hour gust in Knoxville. We're starting to talk about tropical type systems here. All right, let's type that. There we go. Trying to follow it in case you have a question or two. All right, so here we go. Look at those gusts. 30 mile per hour gust right now in Crossville. 31 for Oak Ridge. We're starting to talk about some kind of tropical storm force gust here as we get to around 37 in Knoxville, 28 Sevierville. It's 10 out in Chestnut Hill, no doubt, at the Bush's Bean Plant. Now we expect the gust for the rest of this afternoon to be impactful. If you want to go to dinner tonight, you might have to hold on to that menu, hold on to the napkins, the paper towels, because it's going to be quite gusty out there. 40 mile per hour gusts the rest of the afternoon, and then in the evening hours as well. So baseball practice, if you have a soccer practice or anything with the kids after school, definitely something that will be impacted here by the winds, because we stay between 35 and 40 miles per hour with those gusts as we move forward. That is the reason that we have the wind alerts that have been posted by the National Weather Service. So let's go over some of these. We're talking about areas like Wartburg, Crossville, La Follette, over to Jamestown. Our southeastern Kentucky counties, Williamsburg to Monticello, we're looking at a wind advisory for gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour. So that's really something that could blow some things around. If you have some loose, maybe decorative things in the yard, maybe it's one of those garden umbrellas, picnic table umbrellas, it's going to be flying and shaking around in the wind. Now it gets stronger for the Smoky Mountains. I was just checking with the National Park. They can't tell me if 441 is closed or not. So if someone goes through that particular area and can let me know if 441 is closed or not, but it's still listed as closed from back on the 30th and hasn't reopened. And I don't know if that is the case or not. So anyway, I suspect if it's not closed now, it will close in the future, because we're looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour gust with that high wind warning for the highest peaks of the Smoky Mountains. So that's going to include Sevier, Blount, Cocke, and into Greene counties. That impacts you if you wanted to take a hike this afternoon, or maybe you had something planned to go up to Mount LeConte for that hike or for the weekend. You need to pay very close attention to that, because not only is it the winds that we have today, but these winds stay with us for the next couple of days. And then we add into the mix some of those stronger storms that we have into play. So those are the wind alerts. The wind advisory until 8 o'clock tonight until Thursday morning, 11 a.m. for that high wind warning. You step outside, you got to notice this too. The temperatures right now, 85 in Dandridge. How about 79 Oak Ridge, Knoxville, 71 Crossville, 73 Jamestown, Pineville's at 79. 80 for Rogersville to 83 in Harlan. Look at the swath of weather alerts that we have across much of the central part of the country here, at least the central south and east. Lexington to Cincinnati, Nashville, Memphis. We're even grazing two of our counties in Kentucky here with that flood warning, flood watch that has been posted for the area. We're expecting a lot of rain to fall happen here over the next little while. And look at this. These are the alerts. This is a tornado watch posted until later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. Parts of St. Louis down into Missouri, Arkansas as well. I suspect as this line inches closer to the Memphis area, they will expand that here coming up in the coming hours. So let's show you what's going on. The live radar, of course, spanned it out. Not a lot happening for us here in East Tennessee. So let's put on the radar and cloud track. You see the clouds for our area through Middle Tennessee. Then off to the west, those are the storms we're watching today. I mean, we're talking a level 5 out of the 5 levels of strength that we could have in terms of tornadoes, the possibility of that strong hail with us as well. So zooming in a little bit closer, if you have family or friends out here, make sure that they are following all the emergency warnings. Right now, no tornado warnings issued with this particular system that's moving through, but nonetheless, we'll get some heating mixed in for the day here, and that's going to be something we'll watch closely. I'll take you into the Branson area, just moving out of Table Rock Park, and also Country Boulevard and Branson starting to clear after this heavy storm moved through Silver Dollar City, perhaps over on the Showboat Branson. Maybe a rocky afternoon out with that, of course, just to the north south of Springfield here. And then this other line, Jasper, we're starting to see some hooks on some of these. We may get some tornado warnings to pop here in the next little while. This is back in Arkansas, and of course Jackson, Murray, Harrison, all areas that do need to be watched here, especially with some of the signatures that we are getting now. So here's the severe storm risk that happens all the way through Wednesday for the rest of this day. We add more back into the mix on Thursday, and we'll get to Thursday in a minute, and then Friday, Saturday. So a level 5 risk. That's the highest level for tornado and hail threat that you can get right over Memphis, the eastern half of Arkansas. So those storms get stronger with the heating of the day and the instability that we have for the next couple of hours. Right through Middle Tennessee, for us, we're in those lower threats, but nonetheless, we could see a rogue storm, especially in our northwesternmost counties here. For the rest of the day on this Wednesday, you see we get well into the 80s. It's a warm afternoon, but those gusty winds continue for us here in East Tennessee. 82 in Knoxville to 83 Pigeon Forge, 76 Crossville to 78 Jamestown. Then overnight tonight, we're going to stay cloudy. We're at 68 by the time we wake up for tomorrow morning. That Tennessee-Kentucky line, that little axis right in through there is going to be the focal point for storms early on in the day. I think it'll come down just a little bit closer to Knoxville, but it's probably not going to get all the way to the Smoky Mountains. Let me show you what we're talking about here. So this has been an updated risk here for Thursday. So just new information just in from the National, not the Hurricane Center, but the Storm Prediction Center, looking at that level 2 slight risk for parts of East Tennessee. Once again, for our Thursday, we've got Memphis and areas like that under the gun for an enhanced threat, so that would be a level 3. But nonetheless, one tornado in your neighborhood, your friend's neighborhood, it's just been a bad day for them. So that would be something that we watch closely. Here's the areas of us in East Tennessee that have the most greatest concern here. So some Jamestown, Williamsburg, Monticello. We're talking about some gusty winds, some heavy downpours. And Monticello, the Williamsburg, that's where we have that threat, if you will, for the flooding threat going forward from that flash flood watch. So watch how these storms just kind of sit over that area here over the next little while. Starting Thursday morning, 7 a.m. By 9, they've not moved very much. So now we're talking about some risk impacts from Williamsburg to Jamestown. Some of those pulses of energy will come in there and give us a little bit of heavier rain. Also the possibility of some smaller hail. Not quite the threat for tornadoes, but we could have some strong straight line winds that could bring down some trees and power lines and things like that. But notice how it just kind of stays on that axis through the middle part of the day. Doesn't really get past Knox County as it extends back over into La Follette to Harlan, Sneedville. Of course, the latest information here going right on through 5 o'clock on your Thursday shows this thing starting to dwindle down. The other thing you're going to notice on your Thursday, another hot day. We're well into the 80s once again. So as these storms interact with the heat, the clashing of the cold and the warm air creates that instability factor, which could give us some of those stronger storms, especially to try to work their way in for the afternoon. So after our Thursday, we'll see this developing West Tennessee over off to the east. And it should take us right on into Sunday, and my computer seems to have slowed down on us. It doesn't want to show us Sunday, if you will. on that particular map. Let's see if the next one does. There's another look at those severe storm risk right on through the next couple of days. It went backwards somehow on me. So Sunday night into Monday, we're looking at some high winds that will be with us. The flooding threat is there. So we go from the largest extreme being the high wind down to flooding. Tornado and hail threat is very minimal here for this Sunday situation, but cannot be totally ruled out. So strong storms for us for parts of Sunday. So here's a closer inspection. We start off with heavy rain when you join me at 6 a.m. on WVLT Sunday morning. I'm going to be tracking that all morning long, and it all fans out across most of the area by the 11 a.m. hour on Sunday. We're not saying goodbye to it through the middle part of the day. We go through Sunday and watch what happens. 5, 6 o'clock at night, those reds. You know what the reds mean? That's the heaviest of the rain. The possibility that those clouds have gotten taller and taller. They've gotten some hail mixed in there, and depends on how much we get with the winds circulating around to keep that hailstone alofted up in the sky, that before it gets to the ground, is how impactful that could be. So watching that, watching the possibility of a tornado threat. By the time we get into 2 o'clock in the morning, let me just kind of zoom this back for you just a little bit. By the time we get back 2 o'clock in the morning, we're talking about a clearing pattern, just spotty in nature for the rest of that into Monday. So it's really a Sunday threat all day long for us that we have to pay close attention to. One of the main concerns outside of the strong winds and the hail, some of you may have already started to do some gardening, so you might have to protect those plants from that. But now we're talking about a rainfall risk here, which could lead to some localized flooding issues. You know your neighborhood that when you get a good rainstorm, kind of get a lot of water ponding there. That's what we're talking about here, but still nonetheless something that we need to pay close attention to as our creeks and streams continue to rise. Also our lakes as well. We're already working on that summer pool in many places, so starting to collect all of that rainfall we've had over the past little while. At least we do have some places for all of it to go. Another inch is possible across the area. That goes already with the inch, maybe 2. I've had 2 at my house. The inch to 2 we've had here over the past week. So when you start talking about another week of an inch to 2 and an inch to 2, we're going to start adding into the rainfall column here for some flooding issues. I mentioned the gardening factor. On the 8-day planning forecast, you're going to notice next week is a whole lot different. If you've already started to put out some vegetables or things in the garden, next week the possibility of a frost is on the way. We're not to Easter yet, so we've got a cold spell that's with us, backfilling like maybe early March to a late February, 60s and 50s. At least we've got sunshine, but if you've put anything outside, plants or anything of that nature, we're looking at 35 to 33 to start parts of next week. So something to pay very close attention to. Let me pull up the Facebook here and we'll see. Oh, you don't want to hear me, do you? All right, let's see if we've got any messages. Your bones. All right, you might have heard some of that, but that's okay. He's just telling me what to do. We're going to be wrapping it up here in a second. I just want to make sure that we don't leave anyone hanging there. Windstorm supposed to start in Caryville. So let me back out of this, Nancy, and we'll try to answer that question for you. We're going to look closer at Sunday here with this. Now, this timing, the best thing to tell you is can and will change. We are still 5 days out from this event, and it's one of those that we need to look at closely, but it can change. So Caryville by 9 o'clock on Sunday morning looks like some of the heaviest of the rain and storms would be closest to you. That's not counting the storms that we managed to have here over the next couple of days. So not quite sure which one you are looking at there. Not a lot of comments in here, so we'll move forward. There's 86 of you watching. You can send me those messages yourself if you have any questions. We'll try to get those answered. So we're going to leave you now. I'll take you back to that shot with the radar. We'll see if there's anything happening now in the Nashville area. I'll take you in closer and show you. It doesn't look like anything has triggered there, but we will go away with Memphis. WMC Television in Memphis has a tower cam video picture that we can take and show you right now off to the side of the screen. You can see still some building cloud coverage there. Northwest Central Arkansas. Some of those definitely have the potential to start seeing some rotation there. So if you have friends or family there, just make sure they get the first alert now. You may need to seek shelter here very soon. I'm Kyle Granger in the WVLT.